A lot of coaches want to charge higher fees. And I find that, especially in Europe, we believe that people are not willing to pay high prices for coaches. I'm Stephanie Fiteni. I have built an online coaching business in the last 10 years. I've been coaching online. I have clients from all over the world, mostly the US, because that's intentionally where I built my business, Australia, UK, the rest of Europe. I have clients from all over. And one of the things I want to talk about today is the belief that we have that people will not pay high prices for coaching in Europe. That includes me. When I first started, I didn't even advertise to Europe. I started off with a little bit of word of mouth, and soon enough, what I was getting is people are not willing to pay for coaching. The problem really was I was not ready. The foundations of my business were not ready. I did not know what value I could offer. I did not know what a 5,000 euro package would look like because I had never purchased one yet. Once I went through all these things, I learned exactly what it takes. And there's definitely a market in Europe because the needs are there. If there's one thing that my international online coaching business has taught me is that problems are the same everywhere. And you can really help people all over the world by having the right online coaching business. But today we're going to talk about how you can actually start on your own home turf. The biggest issue that I see is that people start from the tangibles. They think, oh, how many sessions and how much support do I give? They actually build in way more than they should into a package because they're not focusing on the transformation. They're focusing on the things in the coaching package. So here's how to reframe it in terms of transformation. Start off by thinking, what transformation can I offer that is worth this kind of money? I used to have a marketing agency for about 12 years. We used to say, if you can charge the client 15% of what you're going to make them, it's going to be a no-brainer for them to buy it. With coaching, that's not always the case, but with career coaching, for instance, if someone is going to get a 10K a year, 15K hike in their pay, if you manage to help them fine tune their career, then a 5,000 euro price is going to seem like a very good price because if they stay in that job 5 years, you're talking about quite a difference there. Sometimes the transformation can be the other way around. They're not necessarily going to make that money, but you are reducing the risk of losing the money. If you're a founder or a CEO and they risk losing their business if they burn out, then that 5,000 euros is going to save them so much more trouble and money later on. If they're already having symptoms of burnout, if they already have people telling them that they're not staying on top of things, if they already have their wife threatening to leave, which would cost him 50% of everything he's got, then of course that 5,000 euro price doesn't sound so bad. For instance, it's the same thing if you're a life coach and you're helping people who are approaching burnout, because losing any job is probably going to cost you more than 5,000 euros. So it's very important that you think of the transformation, what that transformation is worth. Now, it can be from saving that money or from making that money. And this is, I get quite a lot from my clients. They're like, oh, you're selling money because you're selling marketing. You teach people how to get clients. And it's true, I do perhaps have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to these things. In any coaching business, there's always a financial transaction where there is emotion. Allowing things to get worse and worse is always going to cost them quite a lot. So the first thing you need to think about is not how much time and how much support you're going to spend on this particular client, but what kind of transformation can you provide will make this 5,000 euro tag price a no-brainer. If you cannot find one for 5,000 euros, maybe you're still too new, start off with less. Then you can raise your prices. The second thing is focusing on a specific type of client. You're not going to be able to do things generically, get something that is worth 5,000 euros. It's going to be very difficult for you to sell yourself as a generic life coach and then charge 5,000 euros for a package, because you're not going to be able to think of specific outcomes for specific people. And usually hiking up your price, increasing your price to 5,000 euro for a package is going to mean that you resolve a very specific problem for a very specific kind of person. Burnout recovery for founders, career coaching for men who need to step up their career because they're approaching the last 10 years or 15 years of their career. These are things that are really good. Entrepreneurs that are hitting burnout, people who have mm, discipline issues, habit building issues, people who want to learn investment. All these things, if you don't do them, are going to cost you more. If you don't do them properly, there's going to be a cost that is probably going to be more than a few. So you want to make sure that you're aligning yourself with the right type of client, because very often a similar person that has the same problem may not be worth the same amount of money to them. And also the urgency. So where they are in their customer journey makes a very big difference. So by customer journey, how purchase ready they are, how ready they are to buy. If I've just started a business and I know that burnout is a risk, but I'm not seeing any symptoms yet, I'm probably not going to be willing to pay 5,000 euros. But if I have already been through burnout in a previous business, or if I can already feel symptoms of burnout and people are beginning to tell me to watch it, then obviously I am way closer to buying. That makes a very big difference. You need to design the journey that they're going to go through. This is something I do with my clients. And I think it's one of the most important things you can do for your business, not just once, but every single year. As you learn more and more about your business, you can keep slowly improving your prices because you understand the value that you offer better and better. The next thing is you need to create enough support to justify the investment. But in order to justify the investment, you also need to understand how that transformation is going to be created. So if you want to create a 5,000 euro package, you don't necessarily have to have 2 sessions a week. So it doesn't necessarily need to be more of your time, but more support. So for instance, if you're dealing with someone who needs career changes, it might be more valuable for you to be available for short Q&As, like emergency sessions of 30 minutes before an interview, while they're preparing for an interview, than to have more time every week. So you may need to just change your support accordingly. For maybe they want to do interview practice, which would be more valuable for them. But generally, it's a matter of what can I do to make sure that I am there at the right time, validate, to make them feel like it's worth 5,000 euros, because what they're after is the transformation. So you want to make sure that they feel supported and they stay engaged with you throughout the whole process. Then you want to make sure that the next stage is, of course, to look at how you can talk about this value that you're offering and how you help people with the transformation on the discovery call. So it's important that you help your clients understand the journey you're going to take them through based on the solution that you're giving to the problem that your client has. And you want to make sure that you are very clearly about the journey you're guiding them through and about the transformation they're going to go through. Over time, you'll also be able to really understand how different people do with this transformation and then help them actually get there. And always remember that you can teach people marketing strategies and they still find them hard to implement. I try to really help my clients by giving them the strategies that match their personality, match their budget, and are a good fit for their business. But sometimes I meet clients who have already done a lot of marketing in their coaching business, and they're still hesitating to improve their prices because they feel that their marketing isn't going to work. And the main reason is because they haven't done the shift and aligned everything else. So you need to remember that when you create a new package, you have to align your marketing with it, being very clear, as clear as possible in the beginning, and then aligning as you go along and as you discover more about the kind of people that are actually buying your program. And sometimes it is also a matter of being really clear in your copy on your website. On the discovery call training is one of the things I do with my clients. I don't believe in selling coaching. I believe in making sure that both parties have the right information to make a decision. You as a coach, whether this person is ready to benefit from what you're selling, and as the person buying, whether they are ready to actually make the commitment, go on this coaching journey with you. And the price tag actually makes a difference. The more people pay, the more effort they're going to put in. So the more effort you require the client to make, the more a higher price tag is going to be justified, because you do need their commitment in order for them to see results. It is a good measure of how committed they are. But of course, every situation is different. If you have questions, feel free to pop them underneath this video, and I would be happy to answer you. If you're also looking to get clearer on your business, on your packages, feel free to get in touch. I have a free calls. You can find the link underneath this video. Follow, subscribe to this channel.